You believe you're free. But freedom is the most powerful illusion ever sold. You think you're choosing. You think you're deciding. But the thoughts you're having right now aren't yours. They were planted. From the moment you were born, your mind began to absorb the code. The rules, the expectations, the limits, and now you call those limits you. Every yes you give, every no you whisper, every dream you chase, every fear you obey, it's all been shaped, scripted, and downloaded into a system you never agreed to. You're not making decisions. You're executing a program. But here's the twist. The prison was designed to make you love your chains, to smile while you're bound, to worship the walls around you, and worst of all, to believe you built them yourself. So let me ask you, when was the last time you questioned your wants? Your ambitions? Your identity? What if your entire life was built on scripts you never wrote? Let's tell the truth no one wants to hear. Most people don't want freedom, not really. What they want is comfort. What they want is safety. What they want is a routine that keeps them from thinking. Because freedom, true freedom, is terrifying. It means standing alone. It means taking responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, your silence. But most people would rather be entertained than awakened. You wake up, check your phone, scroll through algorithms that know you better than you know yourself. You choose what to wear. But your choice was already influenced by trends, by fear of judgment, by the need to belong. You eat what they show you. Think what they feed you, buy what they sell you, and then you call it free will. But that's not freedom. That's programming. Carl Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your unconscious is not a blank space. It's filled with voices that aren't yours. Childhood fears, parental expectations, cultural guilt, religious shame, all of it written into your mental operating system before you had the chance to say no. And now you think you're making choices, but you're just running code. You were told what success looks like, what beauty looks like, what failure is, what makes you valuable, and what makes you invisible. You internalized it all, and now you act out a role in a script written by people you will never meet. You chase goals that aren't even yours. You suffer for ideals that don't serve your soul. And the machine, the system, it loves this. Because a man who thinks he's free is much easier to control than one who knows he's a slave. So let me ask you again. What was the last thing you truly wanted before the world told you who you had to be? If you truly want to understand why you're not free, you have to look deeper, not just into your life, but into the very architecture of the modern mind. There are three thinkers who saw the cage long before we realized we were in it. Carl Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, Michel Foucault. These men didn't offer comfort, they offered discomfort, because only discomfort can wake a sleeping mind. Let's begin with Jung. He believed we are born whole, but forced to fragment. To survive, we learn to hide parts of ourselves. We wear a mask. What Jung called the persona, the face we show. The world, shaped by expectations, by the fear of rejection, by the need to belong. And what happens to the parts we hide? They don't disappear. They become the shadow. Every instinct you suppressed, every truth you were punished for, every part of you were told to be ashamed of, all of it buried beneath your public smile. But the shadow doesn't stay buried. It leaks. In your relationships, in your addictions, in your rage, in your anxiety, in the pain you blame on everything. But yourself, Jung warned us, if you don't face your shadow, it will control your life. And you will call it destiny. Now listen to Nietzsche. He looked at the world and saw that man had become weak, not physically, but spiritually, existentially. He called it the herd, a mass of people living safely, comfortably, obediently, but never authentically. Nietzsche believed that conformity was the real sickness of modern life. that we had replaced truth with approval, power with submission, courage with comfort. He didn't want followers. He wanted creators, those brave enough to burn their illusions and rise from the ashes of who they were told to be. He called that higher human the Übermensch, not a master of others, a master of self. But how many people today even know who they are, let alone what they could become? And then there was Foucault. He studied power, but not the kind in palaces or parliaments. He studied the power that hides in habits, in silence, in language, in culture. Foucault revealed something chilling, that in modern society, we no longer need chains. We no longer need guards. The cage is in the mind, and we police ourselves. He called it the panopticon, a prison where you don't see the guard, but you behave as if someone is always watching, because you never know when you're being observed. Sound familiar? Social media, corporate surveillance, social pressure, family tradition. You're always filtering, always performing, always afraid of saying the wrong thing, always adjusting yourself to be acceptable. And when you're always performing, you forget who you are. You become what the system wants you to be. Jung gave us the unconscious map. Nietzsche gave us the flame. Foucault gave us the blueprint of the cage. These were not just philosophers. They were rebels of the mind, and their message has never been more urgent. If you truly want to be free, you must first confront the parts of you that made slavery feel safe. You live your life believing you're in control. But the truth is, you're following a script, not just a cultural script, a psychological one, a biological one, a spiritual one that was never truly yours. Let's look at how this programming shows up in real life. You wake up, you reach for your phone. Before your first conscious thought, you're already being shaped by algorithms. You scroll, you see something beautiful, you feel envy, you see something tragic, you feel numb, and you haven't even left your bed. You think you're making choices, but you've been triggered, activated, conditioned. Now you're late. You rush through your morning routine. You drink coffee not because you want to, but because your body now believes it can't function without it. That wasn't a decision. That was a habit, running like a line of code. You leave the house. You choose what to wear. But is it a choice? Or is it a preloaded response to fear? Fear of judgment, fear of invisibility, fear of standing out, fear of not standing out enough. You walk into work. Your posture changes. Your tone shifts. You become something else. More acceptable, less threatening, easier to manage. You wear your uniform, even when there isn't one. That's programming in my meetings. You speak half-truths. You don't ask the question you really want to ask. You don't challenge the idea you know is wrong, because the script says, stay safe, be agreeable, don't make it awkward. You think you're keeping the peace, but really, you're just avoiding authenticity. You go home, you sit on the couch, you watch something, not because you're interested, but because you need noise to drown the silence. Because silence is where the real thoughts live, the ones you've been avoiding all day. Your body is there, but your soul is not. You're surviving, but you're not living. Let's go deeper. Think about what you dream of. Success, security, love, respect. But who defined these for you? Did you? Or did you inherit someone else's version? Your father's approval, your mother's sacrifice, your culture's pride, your religion's guilt. Now you chase things you don't even want, to impress people you don't even like, to earn validation that won't satisfy you. That's the code. Now let's talk about rebellion, not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet, internal revolt. The moment you question a thought and trace it back. Why do I believe this? Why do I fear this? Why do I want this? This is where freedom begins, not with explosions, but with examination, not with running away, but with looking within. You think you love certain people, but sometimes you just love how they made you feel seen. You think you hate certain people, but sometimes you just hate what they reflect back at you. You think your goals are yours, but they might be the ghosts of someone else's dreams. Every belief is a seed, but not every seed is yours. Some were planted in you by a broken parent, a failed system, a manipulated culture. You are not the soil. You are the gardener. You have the right to uproot. Now think about your pain. Where did it come from? Who taught you that pain should be hidden? That sadness is weakness? That anger must be swallowed? That love should always hurt? These are not natural ideas. They are installations, pieces of programming designed to keep you predictable. Even your trauma has been formatted to fit the script. You're told to get over it, to be strong, to smile for others, to forgive quickly. But healing, real healing, requires disobedience. Disobedience to the lie that time heals everything. Disobedience to the lie that you're fine. Disobedience to the expectation that you should already be better. Every time you sit in silence with your truth, you rewrite the code. Every time you say no when expected to say yes, you challenge the system. Every time you show up not as a persona, but as a soul,
you break the loop. This is the revolution the world cannot see, but you can feel it. And you know it's real. And now you know why you were always exhausted. It wasn't your schedule. It was your script. It wasn't your job. It was your identity. It
wasn't your life. It was someone else's dream. And now, it's time to wake up. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending you don't feel it. The emptiness, the restlessness, the quiet rage under your skin, the tension in your chest when you smile. You've built a life that looks acceptable, but doesn't feel like yours, and deep down, you know it. You're tired, but it's not physical. It's spiritual. It's existential. You're drained. Not from work, but from wearing the mask, the act, the script, the role, every single day. You laugh when you want to scream. You agree when your soul says no. You nod, you smile, you shrink. Because that's what's expected. And the worst part? You've gotten good at it. So good that even the people closest to you have no idea who you really are. But you do. You know who you were before the world shaped you, before the rules, before the roles, before the rewiring. There was a version of you that was raw, wild, honest, free, and you miss that person. Even if you've never met them, you feel it in your silence, in the moments right before sleep, when everything is quiet and there's nothing left to distract you, that voice that whispers, "This isn't who I am." You've sacrificed your truth for approval, for survival, for peace. But it wasn't peace. It was silence. And silence isn't always safety. Sometimes silence is a scream that no one else can hear. You look in the mirror and see a face that smiles. But the eyes are begging for help. You scroll through life pretending you're okay, posting, reacting, consuming. But inside, you're starving, not for food, not for attention, for something real, something yours. And that's the rupture. That's the moment when the mask begins to crack, when the pain becomes louder than the fear, when the desire for truth becomes greater than the need to fit in. It's terrifying, because if you let go of the act, who are you? If you stop performing, will they still love you? If you say what you really think, will they still accept you? If you choose freedom, what will you lose? The answer is simple. Everything that was never truly yours. But the question you've never dared to ask is worse. What happens if you don't? What happens if you never stop performing? If you keep quiet forever? If you keep being who they want and not who you are? You already know the answer. You feel it every day. In the exhaustion you can't explain. In the anxiety you can't silence. In the sadness you carry for no visible reason. It's the grief of a soul that was never allowed to live. It's the mourning of a self you never gave permission to exist. This is where the war begins. Not outside. inside. The war between who you've been and who you truly are. Between the program and the soul. Between the script and the scream. Between survival and truth. You can feel it now. Your body is tired of playing the role. Your heart is tired of pretending. Your mind is tired of obeying. And your spirit is ready to rise. But there's something else. Something even deeper. A realization that the pain you feel is not just resistance, it's a signal, a flare from the deepest parts of you, calling you back home. Home to your essence, your voice, your unfiltered self. You're not broken, you're just buried beneath years of lies, layers of protection, mountains of expectation. But here's the truth no one told you. The real you is still in there, still alive, still waiting, and it's time to let that version breathe, even if it costs you everything fake, even if it costs you comfort, even if it costs you approval, even if it costs you your old life, because the only thing worse than losing your false life is never living your real one.
Let's stop calling it freedom. When it's just an algorithm with better graphics, let's stop calling it identity. When it's just a costume we forgot to take off, let's stop calling it a dream. When it's really someone else's memory, implanted
into our survival script. Let's stop lying to ourselves, because the real war was never between you and the world. It was between the version of you that obeys without question, and the version of you that remembers how to rebel quietly, consciously, courageously. This isn't about being right, or being liked, or being safe. It's about being whole. And wholeness requires facing what you were told to ignore. It requires unlearning the fear of silence, unlearning the obsession with validation, unlearning the illusion of control. You are not a machine. You are not a role. You are not the smile you wear to make others comfortable. You are the silence behind the noise, the ache behind the ambition, the truth beneath the persona. Jung said it best. No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. You want the light? Then stop denying the dark. You want to feel alive again? Then stop numbing the parts of you that still remember how to feel. You want to be free? Then start asking different questions. Not, what should I do? But, who told me to want this? Not, how can I succeed? But, what does success mean to my soul? Not, how do I fix myself? But, who convinced me that I was broken? The system wants obedience, but your soul wants awareness. The world wants performance, but your shadow wants integration. The culture wants perfection, but your truth wants expression. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to be normal. You are not here to play a part. You are here to remember who you were before the fear, before the mask, before the rewiring. And when you do, you won't need permission. You won't need applause. You won't need a script, because the moment you know who you are, you become something no one can control. Not society, not religion, not ideology, not trauma, not even your past. Because when you integrate the shadow, when you reclaim your soul, when you rewrite the program, you are finally free. Not because someone told you so, but because you stopped asking. This is not a motivational speech. This is not inspiration. This is not guidance. This is a confrontation with everything you've been avoiding, with the voice you've silenced, with the version of you that you buried to survive. You've heard the words. You've seen the mirror. Now comes the hardest part, the choice. Because once you've seen the cage, you can't pretend it's a palace. Once you've tasted truth, you can't keep swallowing lies. Now you're standing at the edge, one step from everything real, one step from everything terrifying, because truth isn't pretty, and freedom isn't painless. You will lose comfort. You will lose validation. You will lose people who only knew the mask. But what you gain is something no one can take from you, yourself. The version of you that doesn't need applause. That doesn't ask for permission. That doesn't beg to belong. But here's what they don't tell you about transformation. It's lonely. It's brutal. It will dismantle you, piece by piece, layer by layer, lie by lie. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering someone ancient, someone honest, someone hidden beneath the fear. You will feel like you're dying, but it's only the false you that's fading, the programmed you, the obedient you, the acceptable you. And when that part burns away, what's left is what's real. You, not the role, not the personality, not the polite mask you've worn for years. The raw, untamed soul that's been screaming into your silence. Do you hear it now? It's in the moment you hesitate before lying. It's in the tension when you say yes and mean no. It's in the tears you swallow just to keep the peace. That's your truth, trying to break free, and the more you ignore it, the louder the pain becomes, until it destroys everything you built that wasn't built on truth. So what do you do now? You stop. Stop pretending. Stop performing. Stop running from the ache in your chest that knows this isn't it. Sit with it, not to fix it, but to feel it. Let the silence say what words can't. Let the discomfort reveal what comfort hides. Spend one day fully awake. One day where every thought is questioned, every reaction is observed, every desire is traced back to its source. You'll be shocked at how much of your life was never yours. Then start reclaiming. Reclaim your voice. Reclaim your anger. Reclaim your boundaries. Reclaim your time. Reclaim your presence. This isn't about rebelling against the world. This is about refusing to abandon yourself. Again. Because you've done it before, haven't you? You said yes when everything in you screamed no. You kept quiet to be loved. You laughed when you wanted to cry. You shrank to make others feel bigger. You've disappeared so many times that now you're just a ghost performing in your own life. But today is a threshold, a moment you'll remember as either the day you woke up or the day you turned away, and no one will know. No one will see. No one will clap for this because the most sacred transformation happens in silence. But when it happens, everything changes. Your walk, your voice, your choices, your eyes. Not because you followed a plan, but because you stopped betraying yourself. That's the revolution, the one no one sees, but everyone around you will feel. And it starts with the simplest word, spoken from the deepest place. Enough. No one's coming to save you. But no one has to, because the real you was never missing, just hidden, just waiting. Just quiet. You don't need a map. You don't need a guide. You don't need another voice telling you who to be. You just need silence and the courage to enter it. The path won't be loud. It won't be clear. It won't be safe, but it will be yours. And that's enough. Let them misunderstand you. Let them question your change. Let them fall away. You were never here to please. You were here to remember, to wake up, to burn clean. So now, before this video ends, before the noise returns, ask yourself one question. What am I still pretending not to know? Don't answer fast. Don't scroll away. Sit with it. Let the silence answer. Because it will. If you're willing to hear it. If something in this message touched you, don't comment for me. Comment for yourself. Say what broke you. Say what woke you. Because sometimes just writing it down is the first breath of the real you, coming back to life. If you're still here, you're not just a viewer. You're someone who's ready. And this channel is not for everyone. It's for those who think too deeply, feel too much, and are tired of pretending they're okay. So subscribe if you want, or don't. But don't forget this feeling, because that was never me. It was always you.